Okay. Okay. Thank you. Sorry about that. Uh, I'll have to post this in several parts too. Hopefully, I can make it through this time. I had to go back and delete some files to create space in order to continue a lengthy presentation. Right back into it, checking my notes here. We were just speaking about Dr. Banks's incredible presentation in front of the scientists at a conference about HIV and a number of things, opening, talking about the Divine Mother. So she even speaks about chakras, and that is the wave of the future, people understanding our spiritual makeup and integrating that into everything that they do. And we know that that is very unpopular. I'm sure, again, she looks great. And she, of course, being as astute as she is, can make money wherever she goes. I'm hoping that I can figure out how to do that. I am quite concerned about my livelihood going forward. And so, anyway, I do these little things hoping somebody might see it and it might lead to something. A presentation, invitation to speak, or whatever. Uh, I want to go say quickly, thank you, Dr. Banks. Please see the presentations I've done about her. The presentation, it's already out there, but type in her name and the rest of the musical title, and you should be able to see that. There in that song, it began to really feel like a musical. The music that I had chosen, the way that I did it, I'm experimenting this whole time with all of that. And you know how when you go to a musical, there are certain songs you hear and you know that you're at a musical. That's what I wanted for this presentation. Knowing that pretty much everything originated with our people, the Moors, the piano, Beethoven, Bay, all of that. And we only exposed to certain things on television, on the radio, when our people are quite varied, quite talented in many areas and do lots of things that a lot of people never even get to learn about because it doesn't fit the stereotypes. It is art that raises the consciousness vibration rather than lowers it and sublimates Kundalini energy. Okay, next topic. I want to go on and say how Dr. Banks spoke quite clearly about eugenics, citing names of people and the horrible situations that we find ourselves in, eugenics, eugenicide, and profiteering off the suffering of innocent people. She even went to talk about Microsoft and Apple and higher up people in the eugenics process. She mentioned how Apple has a building constructed in California which is shaped like the ovum. And she called out the symbolism of the sperm being blocked from reaching. She used all the technical scientific names, but that part where the sperm activates the egg, the artwork depicts that they are trying to stop that. So this is what I like. People who know how to look beyond, look for the symbolisms and gain meaning. So I just love her so much. So wherever she's living in the world, I hope she's happy. Like I said, she looks great. She's eating well. She's all about health. She seems to be a little bit more about the children than I am, having studied under Bobby Hemmett, who talks about it's the adults. The children are going to do fine if they're modeling parents who are doing right. So, but it does reach an audience when you start talking about the children. So, not that I don't love the children. Of course I do. I've dedicated my life to teaching children. So, of all ages, all the way up through youth. So anyway, thank you, Dr. Banks. Moving right along, I have down here kidney. You may not be aware that the organs and the chakras are governed by spiritual entities, high spiritual entities. For instance, the kidneys is governed by, I learned this through Bobby Hemmett, Echidna. And every organ in the body serves spiritual symbolic significance. We've already discussed in our self-healing presentations about kidney issues that result from being angry. emotional issues that cause physical dysfunction when not in balance. And so we can heal our consciousness, self-correct our consciousness, and heal our body. But anyway, all sorts of attacks, excuse me, all sorts of attacks are made on the spiritual body, on the physical body, through foods, air, water, pollution, toxicity, drugs, etc. And the reason they do that is because they know that Kundalini is rising. And in the process of becoming illuminated, some parts of the body rise up the chakra column and sit atop the pineal gland. Echidna is responsible for that kidney. So dehydration is a way that they attack us, sodas, etc. And we are to drink lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of water. If you can find fresh water, like I do, going to places to get water from under the earth. Okay, that's our echidna. And our body is governed as Nebthet is healing the sacral chakra. So learn about that. Look into it on your own. You don't have to sit in front of any presentation when you could be out studying and learning on your own. And then you record and help us understand things. All right. I've talked about social isolation. I really hate it, you know. I dislike when metaphysics teachers and other books and things say that, you know, we're creating all of our life and, you know, this is our journey and, you know, we just do the techniques, the mechanics of metaphysics correctly, we'll see results, you know, like, and our people bought into the wanting to get rich schemes and thinking positive all the time. But positivity is not balance. You know, I didn't create the HIV debacle. While I did allow them to talk me into taking that test, I didn't come up with something to kill people. You know what I mean? And that's not being self-righteous. That's just calling attention to the fact that I have to be sitting here in front of a camera talking about things, and I'm taking responsibility for my role in it, but we cannot say that we are completely responsible for this world being in a horrible situation that it is in. Okay? All right. On eradication, I've been posting on Instagram that as I ride around Atlanta and come across a train or a satellite or something that could be considered a satellite center, maybe I pass the location that Bobby Hemmett has spoken about where the transporting process would have happened. Areas in Northside Drive with the railroad track and the rail cars and the shackles found inside one of the train cars and all those things. I want to know who is responsible. You know, we tend to think it's the elite, it's some higher up people sitting around a table. But to carry out this kind of an agenda, teams of people would have to be involved, and they would have to be complicit in not speaking up about what it is they are doing. You know, so when I'm out and around the city, you know, I don't know who to trust, who I can believe. What are they doing at night? We already know lots of them work in hospitals. Certainly some of them have heard that HIV is bogus, but they continue to do their jobs to get their little paychecks while our people are dying. Even though we're learning that death is good. So I can stand before you like this, unafraid. Because living every day, waking up and going, damn, I'm back in this bitch. What am I going to do today to get through this day without love, hugs, and touch? Without anybody seemingly caring. Now, when we're online, you know, people may not catch my posts till 24 hours after I've done them. So I'm still not getting immediate feedback or compassion. They may click like. They may even say, oh, you know, you look so handsome today. We like what you're wearing. But they're not talking about the content of what I just created. So it seems like I'm still floating out here alone. And I don't like that. So we are getting to the bottom of who these people are who are on these eradication teams. If you're out and about, take note. You know, raise some questions. Create some possibilities for coming to understand these atrocities. All right, forgive me for my attitude. I'm going to take a couple deep breaths and get back into it. Also, I had mentioned in my Aid Atlanta presentation where I started off at High Museum and went inside Aid Atlanta there in the Jewish temple complex next door to it, and they asked me to turn off the camera, and then I did speak to someone inside there. They had agreed. In fact, one guy, higher up than the guy that I was speaking with, had given me a business card which turned out to be bogus. And so even the fear about doing something like that caused me, I haven't even followed up with that. So I wanted to be honest about that. I may very well do that one day, call and get that meeting around the conference table that I was told that I would be able to have to get some answers. Okay? So that might be forthcoming. Please check out those presentations. I did one in the park at Piedmont after that presentation to let people know what had happened. So all of that is out there. You know, with this online thing, when you have to break up a presentation, particularly when you're not on Facebook and you can't just directly put it into groups as a live presentation. If people just see a thumbnail, they're more likely to not watch because they've been dumbed down, emoji dumbed down, to keep scrolling, clicking like, and get as much really negativity as they can, entertaining themselves. But there are those of us like us who are scholars and who are interested in getting to the bottom of things. So thank you all for that. But this here again is going to be in 2 parts. And then I'll look up 4 months, 6 months later, and it's only got 20 views. Which again makes me feel like I'm wasting my time and wasting my energy. All right? This is not an ego thing. This is about making change in the world. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to discuss that I have a note about here, and I'm going to be coming to an end, hopefully to keep this down to 2 parts. Chaos beings, I have written here, and the Divine Mother mythology. I've been posting about this as I learned it a lot from Bobby Hemmett. We know that I took Latin in school. We know that I learned all about Zeus and Hera and Publius, and nobody ever said that Medusa was a melanin being. Nobody said anything about melanin beings. You know, when I look back on that, knowing all that I know now, it's like, how could they do that? By the way, please see that presentation on Etruscans, Romans, and Greeks, as well as the one on Moors. Evidence we found, and it's set to beautiful music that Mama Nebthet brought me to, like she does all the time, to punctuate the boards that are within it, the teaching boards that can be paused and stopped. But anyway, back to the mythology. We now understand how patriarchy came into existence, that we were primal beings. Not even looking like humans. We probably would scare ourselves to see us as we really are. Some artist or perhaps someone has had a vision and they create art. I've been posting even that to get people thinking outside of themselves as humans. And particularly those who are interested in occult science like I am, based on what I have been through. I want to know all about this Shiva person who awakened my Kundalini. What was he like? What was his character like? What is he known for? What are all of the archetypes of consciousness that are out there? What do they really do during their waking lives, whether it was physical or spiritual? We already know that Kali and the Christs, all Christs, are not this heartfelt, lovey-dovey Jesus image that we have been raised under. Rather, the Christ itself, which has not yet been on this planet, is a destructive force, tearing down so that we can build back up divine. All right? And the Divine Mother, something happened in the world of spirit where she was entrapped, and then Prometheus, again, was able to steal fire from Zeus, which we now know is a Dalda Broth, a lower demiurge energy, and the responsible party for matriarchy and writing out the divine feminine and all the horrible things that happen to women. And he is now losing energy. Prometheus was chained to that rock and tortured with a vulture pecking off his flesh for the great thing that he did, which after much study, Thank you, Bobby Hemming. We are understanding the Kundalini energy that has lain dormant and the reawakening of the divine feminine energy and the threat that presents to patriarchy, and explains why those of us whose Kundalini is awakened is under attack. Why you go into a hospital and you get some bogus diagnosis, whether you're a woman or a man, whether you're going for an HIV test, a blood test, heart pressure test, kidney test, fibroids, all of that, because they are trying to sublimate the Kundalini energies, because they know if she comes back, they lose power. But that is inevitable. They just try to slow it down. But the Divine Mother, who loves us, is reawakening. So we should rejoice in that. Just knowing that and thinking of that every day lets me not go kill myself. You can get through another day, Damien. You can do it. Because, that twinkling of an eye experience, whatever might happen with our pineal gland, if we clean out our vessels and spend our time in meditation and see ourselves apart from being humans, rising back to who we really are, perhaps we can hasten that process. So that's what I'm all about, because I'm the one living in hell. We also learned that the original word for earth was Hyel, Hyel, which hell later was derived from. Now, we all grow up wanting to live the American dream, wanting to believe that if we work for things, we are in a better position to take care of ourselves, to offer our gifts to the world, to develop our soul. And I am learning that is not the case. In fact, having been lied to since birth, educated or miseducated, and then getting out into the world after jumping through all the hoops, paying all the funds to do that, and then running into roadblocks. That's the life that I am living. Now, if you want me to cheese and grin up in your face, I'll do it in a 15-second interaction. But, there aren't many conscious people on the world, and a person who's in a mindset of authenticity has a hard time even relating to people who are not yet conscious, who might be a clone, who are still sheeples, and I have nothing against anybody's spirituality, but we learned all the things that are going on in churches, them being cloning centers, and how they disempower people by not teaching them the truth of themselves. So that's a whole lot. I'm looking down at my notes here. I think I may have gotten it all in. But thank you for taking the time with me here today again. And I feel a little better now that I got that off my chest. When I get up and post and then I have to find somewhere to go or something to do or whatever, I don't want to write any more books. I feel like I've done enough. And you have to pay to even do that kind of thing. And I'm not able to give any more like I was before. I can't afford it. Okay? So, again, thank you for listening. I am Dr. Damien Q. Laster, a.k.a. Kabir Amun Ra Anpu Asar Set Harakti, the Rainbow Warrior, Conscious Doctor, Metaphysical Science, Tum Ra. Have a good day. Bye-bye.